Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Cal.
And we are going to do our Stage 4 Week 2 preview of the Overwatch League for 2019. If this week is anything like last week, it should be a lot of fun. There's a lot of matches that have playoff implications, which is going to be especially Friday. Friday's like one of those days, like if you guys watch college football, it's like,
rivalry week.
Like, what do they usually call it? It's like Separation Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the ones where, where you got all these teams.
There's like a big matchup. Like, every team has some kind of big matchup that has playoff implications for what bowl they're going to get put into or whatever.
Going to be playing in the Weed Eater Bowl. Anyway, but we do have some other news some stuff we didn't touch on our review. So we're gonna hit.
Yeah, let's start off with that. The big news of the day is the sale of the Houston Outlaws. That's really the big thing that has happened over the last couple of days, and it's big for the league because it's the first team that's been sold. It's sold for twice what they paid for it. So they were sold to he's like a real estate guy in Houston. So any talk of them moving or any of that can probably be squashed. And yeah, so it's a big deal. Which,
to be honest, I think for a league like this, that's when I always from even in my younger days, like watching in the USFL and some of these other upstart leagues that try to do things. When teams start moving around, that's bad. Mm-hmm. Like if they moved, and it looks bad for the other investors and stuff like that. Sorry, Chicago fans. I know you guys really wanted a team, and it could have been Houston or whatever. But for them not even to have played a home game, be called the Houston Outlaws, and move out of Houston to Chicago or Denver or whatever, what could have happened, I think that would have been bad.
Yeah, I agree. So, but I think also, it would be best for Chicago to get a team that is an expansion team. I think that would be a much better situation for them because that also is a good situation for the league. And then also, you don't want, as much as we rag on Houston, it's mostly because they have a really annoying fan base. And the fact that they have a fan base that says a lot.
Exactly.
The fact that we can even talk about them as a collective fan base and how strong they are as a community, that's a lot, and that's something you don't want to give up. That absolutely has value to anybody that's going to own a team.
And it's one of the few vocal strong fan bases in the Overwatch League, really. Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Dallas. I mean, the LA teams, because all the games are there.
Right.
I mean, and you have maybe New York with the five deadly venoms and all that stuff, leading the charges, with as a group of fans. Everybody else kind of, they have fan clubs and, podcasts and stuff like that. Even the Mayhem, we have a pretty big fan base for as shitty as we are. I know a lot of people say we have 4 fans. It's they're one of the reasons people are kind of or people like me are oh, wow, this is kind of like a sports league. I can rag on them because, they actually have a bunch of people that root for them, and I can kind of, the back and forth is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You rarely are you going and picking on Guangzhou Charge fans.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Of course, we're not in China, so we don't know. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it totally makes sense. But so that was a big deal. So let's move on to some of the other announcements for this week. The big announcement for next season are the new roster rules that were announced. So
I'll post those up on the screen.
Yeah, some slight changes. Really, the big one is the key dates of when the signing windows are going to be, free agency, all of that. This will be a little bit different because you're not going to have any new teams, so everyone's kind of on an even playing field when it comes to the availability of free agents. So that'll be a little more interesting, and those dates are going to definitely have more impact. It's basically a 1 week period, but teams have a long period to sign any of the players that they already have signed to extensions.
Which that's a
so. Yeah,
everybody's on a two-year contract for the most part from last year.
Yeah, I think most guys are on 2-year contracts from last year, but some of them I think have team options for next year, possibly. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, and I feel like we could see some salaries really go up too. If,
and I think there's
some
going to be
of these guys,
NBA type movement.
Yeah,
like because they're doing what the regular professional sports leagues do with the official 2020 season starts on this day.
Yeah.
And right after that day, it's, everybody you start seeing the contracts coming up, and, people like our friend from last year that was just spouting stuff everywhere all over the internet, or he won't be back, but, other guys like, I'm sure Slasher and all those guys will be like, this guy's here, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like, because I always follow, all the NFL guys
right
on my personal Twitter, and it's
Schefter
Schefter and all those guys. About was it March 1st usually is the start of the new NFL season?
It's usually like the first week of March. Yeah.
Yeah. About then, their Twitter feed just starts fucking rolling with this guy was in Denver and this guy was in Detroit and all that stuff. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, I think, seeing that for this is going to be cool. So the other big changes is the academy and roster rules. So contenders rules or contenders rosters are going to be capped at 8 players. And any teams can reach out to all contenders players to arrange tryouts and negotiate contracts. Signings of contenders players are subject to payment of a buyout fee made by the Overwatch League to the contenders team. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. We might see some more guys getting bought out from other contenders teams, depending on, and then I think that's also going to have different effects depending on whether it's an academy team, because I think any academy teams can match and offer more than anybody else. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. And then the big thing is when it comes to two-way players, and so basically there's going to be anybody that's on a two-way contract has to make the same the minimum amount that they would get paid for being on an Overwatch League team, but they will count on both the league team or the Overwatch League roster limit and the contenders roster limit for weeks that they are playing. And then anybody that plays 2 games within a 30-day period, or plays in 2 matches within any 30-day period, cannot play in contenders for 60 days. Any player who competes in more than half of their team's total maps played in the 2020 Overwatch League season will be ineligible to compete in contenders in the off-season. A maximum of 4 two-way players may compete in a single contenders match, an increase from the 2-player cap. So I think that's going to be interesting. I feel like a lot more teams are going to carry more two-way contracts because of this. Yeah, and I think that's good for both the league and contenders.
Yeah, I think it's good for the contenders. It's good for it being a minor league system, more so than it is now. I mean, you have all these, like, if you look at even like, Mayhem Academy, they had all those Western players. They went to a Korean roster, and, they were buying and selling players. And it's happened with other rosters, too. You've seen, someone get signed from... Dallas's academy team here a couple times. It kind of makes it more of a farm system. Where they can come up to the Overwatch League, but if you have them on that roster and the two-way contract, they're locked.
Yeah, so I think that it's going to be very helpful in terms of really getting things back on track as far as having contenders is what it should be, which is a minor league system, and making it feel more legit in that sense. Yeah,
I'm all for it. I've been for it since it started. That was one of the things that I've been screaming about. The thing that will get me more into the contender scene. I mean, other than, there's a time where I need a little break, and I think, it's like, okay, I want to watch competitive Overwatch, but I don't.
Right.
And contenders is the only thing going, and I just kind of I look at scores, and if someone says, "Ooh, you got to watch this," I'll this player or something like that, I'll kind of check it out. Mm-hmm. But if I'm invested in my team, they have an academy team, I want to see the guys that are going to come up.
Exactly. I'm going to be much more interested in checking out those particular teams.
Yeah, because now it's like watching college football, where it's kind of like, okay, Oklahoma's playing Texas. There's a couple guys I might want to check out in that could be good.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's what it's like. I used to be more into college football than I am because it's corrupt and bullshit now, but that's a whole different story. I just wanted to be more in the traditional baseball kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, I think that seems kind of what they're basing so much of this league off of is baseball, which, I mean, for the most part is really
a little soccer. They're pulling a little from everything.
They really are, which is good. I mean, that's how they should do it, because every team or every league does something right, but they also do some things wrong. So
yeah,
and you're not going to be able to have a perfect match because it's so different in so many other ways. So yeah, I think it's good for them to have diversity with those kinds of rules and such. Yeah. So let's move on to some players are having visa issues for the Washington Justice. So Elivote and Lulsish are really struggling to get their visa situation fixed, and they will not be playing at all in Stage 4, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, because we were talking about that on the review, what it would be like if, when they got here. I thought they might have been here and they were gonna play or something like that, but
right. But this kind of answers those questions of why they didn't get to play, which is a bummer. You hate to see that kind of thing be what holds it up.
Yeah.
But I mean it is what it is.
That's
There's really not much
I think, it might be better for them right now, I guess.
Yeah, because they can really kind of figure out which of the guys that they have right now are really worth keeping around for next season, and figuring that out. And I think they need to do that for sure, and use this as an opportunity to figure that out and really narrow down the guys that they need to bring in next year.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be garbage bottom feeders next year.
No, I don't think so either.
And since we have Roll-Lock, you can't go if the meta.
Yeah.
The meta's going to be
there will be a meta, and there is kind of a meta that is developing, but I think it's going to be more map dependent, and I think there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more opportunities for different players and all of that. So,
and we'll segue into the next little bit of news with the meta. So the Overwatch League did announce that Sigma will be available to play in the play-in tournament and all of the playoffs, and it's going to go along with the balance patch that's currently on the PTR. I think this is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I think this is a step towards what they actually need to start doing, because next year there's no breaks. They can't do we'll patch during the break. They got to patch in the middle of the season. Exactly. And teams need to be able to adjust to that. And I think that's just gonna be a reality of the league. And I think that's for the best, because anybody that's playing the game normally, they have to do the same thing. Exactly. I think it's part of. Go ahead. Part of one thing that they really worried about was that so many teams, or they were worried that the level of play would drop when they're changing a meta and when they make changes, and then also they're going to lose or have some kind of issues with, just because you never know how things are going to go as far as when you drop a patch and all of that, and how everything's going to work, and if you're going to have any issues, because you definitely don't want to run into situations where a game-breaking bug is going to affect wins. You want to avoid that as much as possible, but I think that just because of the way that Blizzard balances the game in general, if they continue what they're doing right now, where they really are able to utilize the PTR effectively to weed out as much of that stuff as possible, and then also like maybe
they're basing it around what's live in competitive, I think that will help as well.
And like they said for next year, teams are going to get a 2-week notice before a balance patch.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that includes maps, heroes. They probably have to sign some non-disclosure with, they probably tell them a month in advance about a hero.
Right.
Because I was watching Oversight, and the interesting thing is with Sigma, Corey said he thinks teams are going to play him a lot because they've all been scrimming with him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely, it could be game changing. Don't know. I want to watch them play because I am absolute hot garbage with him. They did, and it's going to be good. And the balance patch going in, we're going to see some different stuff again, which is, I also think it's good. I know people get on this. Well, it's gonna turn the game. These teams are. You know what? If these guys are smart, they all play the game. You roll with the balance patch.
Yeah, exactly.
They're smart enough to figure out. I mean, people underestimate them. If you remember last year, and was it stage 2 when they fucking super OP'd Sombra? Mm-hmm. Remember when she had like all this. Like her hack was like insane. She could run anywhere on the map and a whole bunch of stuff. They played her for the 2 weeks, and then they nerfed her after that, or like
exactly.
But they were on it. They're not dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Like these guys know what they're doing.
I just hate it when they underestimate how smart these guys are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know it's a lot of scrimming and stuff like that, but when there's a bounce patch and they find out someone's OP, they know how to use them.
Exactly. All right. So let's move on to one final part of the league playoffs, and that is going to be just the whole tournament system for the playoffs. So we've got the graphic up now that somebody put on the Overwatch League Reddit. It's a basic whiteboard, but it's very, very well done, and it shows the full extent of how the playoffs are going to go, starting with the play-ins, then moving on to the winners bracket, the loser bracket, and then eventually the grand finals. And it's very well done, and I'm so excited for these playoffs. Because
I'm excited. It's a double A limb too. Mm-hmm. I always love that. Like even back when I played like baseball as a teenager, pre-teenager, anytime you played like in a travel team tournament, it was always double elimination. So if you had a shit game, or
it doesn't, it's not a death sentence.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team like New York in a sandbag one game and just kind of,
and then work their way
the next
through
one and go home.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh God, I had to get one New York one in. We didn't even do that last week. That was horrible. That was bad on us.
I know, right?
Oh wait, no, I said they sandbagged. Never mind.
We might not have said they sandbagged, but they choke.
Yeah,
that's probably what we said more than anything.
Did I hint at it with talking about them and the Gladiators? Maybe, I don't know. It was possible. I didn't call them the Indianapolis Excelsior, so
yeah.
But anyway,
that is our go-to. But yeah, it's a really cool system. I am so stoked for how this is going to play out, because it's going to be so many matches that are going to be super meaningful. Yes. And meaningful Overwatch games are always fun to watch.
Exactly. And if anyone in my life, I know none of them are listening to this because they don't play games and they definitely don't like Overwatch, but if anyone fucks with my life in this 3-week span, I am going to murder them.
Yeah, right? Like...
Get away from me, I'm watching this.
It's like that stupid meme that's going around on Facebook about football. It's like any day on Mondays, or I'm not making any plans at any place that doesn't have a TV on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
Yep.
All of that.
Yeah, exactly. When this is going on, leave me alone.
Exactly.
Unless if you're on Twitter or you want to talk about the matches, yes, I'm down.
Yes, so in.
But yeah, that's going to be fantastic. I can't wait, especially with the way this, moving into, go into the week 2 here. the way things are playing out and how exciting the matches have been so far with the 2-2-2 roll lock. Let's dive into week 2.
Yeah, so starting off, first game of the week on Thursday, Guangzhou versus London. This is a big match for both of these teams. London especially, or I don't know.
Guangzhou more.
Yeah, Guangzhou more.
Impactful for Guangzhou. I think it's big for both of them.
Yeah, I think it's more impactful for Guangzhou because it really gives them a chance to play a quality opponent and see what they can do against them, and then also really solidify their spot in the play-in, and then maybe even sneak into the just regular playoffs. I think that's pretty unlikely at this point.
Yeah,
but
a lot of teams got to lose, but
but if they win this game, then that's going to put them at 500, and that's really going to help them a lot.
And that would put them 3 out of making the 6. Mm-hmm. And it would be damaging the team that's in the 6. I mean, the way they played this last week, Nero and Happy and they memed on fucking Boston, but Boston's a train wreck right now, and their B team it did not look terrible.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, I just like where they're going, and maybe their tanks needed a little push.
Right. Yeah.
Hotba unfortunately can't be flex guy. So maybe they need Bishu in there a little bit. You know what I mean? He can't do you can go on a Tracer, you can go on a Pharah, then if they need Diva, you can go back to Diva, and then you can go on a Zarya, and you know what I mean? He's just got to stick in but it seems like he's a flexible enough guy where, he'll be valuable. Against London, that's going to be tough, and I want to see what they do, actually. Because we know where London is. Yeah,
right. I'm always down to watch London just because they have such incredible players. So I'll definitely be checking this game out. And then it's just been so fun to see what Guangzhou has been doing lately.
Yeah.
And just seeing the versatility that this roster has and what they're bringing to the table. And it's pretty impressive the turnaround that they've brought after that dreadful second stage.
Yeah, because, they looked really good in the first one. Second stage was meh. And third stage, they kind of came back around a little bit. And,
And now they're really hitting their stride.
Yeah. And London is just in their element.
Oh, for sure.
And they actually looked like they were having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like sometimes in that 2-2-2 thing, or not the 2-2-2, the goats thing. They were just kind of ugh.
Going through the motions. Yeah. Ugh, we're here playing this again.
Gesture styling coming to the stage and shit. That dude,
right.
that dude in Baby Bay should have a dance off.
Can we get that instead of one of the 1v1s one of these weeks? Just a full on dance off.
Oh, I forgot. On that note, I believe tomorrow there's a 3v3.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Toronto versus is it Washington? Tracer battle.
It sounds correct. Yeah.
It was Toronto, Washington Tracer battle. I think it's Logix, IM37, and Ivy versus the DPS from. So that would be Corey, Stratus, and look that up really quick.
Yeah, let's find this.
See, now this is what we were talking about, not just Widow 1v1 battles, but something different. Yeah, okay, here it is. So there's going to be a Tracer 3v3, and it's going to be Addo, Stratus, and Corey versus Logix, Ivy, and IM37. That's going to be fun.
Awesome. That's so awesome.
No, that I forgot. I totally forgot about that. I thought I was going to talk about that, and there was so much other shit with the roster moves and the playoff things and all that kind of stuff. The roster locks and all that crap. But that's going to be fun. Now, I like that they're doing some fun stuff.
Absolutely.
But okay, back to the schedule. Now we got sidetracked with the Tracer versus 3v3. Torb Hammer 3v3. All in the summer skin.
Right? Oh, man. All right, so...
Squeaky.
Yeah, so next match is going to be... Oh, my God, please make that a thing if they do the Torb Hammer thing again. Do it on Ilios and Torb hammers all around, or Oasis, either one. Yeah.
Come on, they're the game developers. They can just put the squeaky hammer in anything.
Just make that the default sound for Torb's hammer.
Okay. Back to reality.
Next match we wanted to talk about is the Valiant versus Seoul on Thursday as well. This is going to be an interesting one because...
what the fuck is Seoul?
Yeah, what is Seoul?
Korean Dallas.
Yeah, Jesus
the Korean
Christ.
Fuel.
To be fair, they did play two pretty good teams last week.
Yeah, but the thing with Seoul is you're supposed to be a good team.
Right.
Fucking beat them and play Fleta every fucking map, please.
Yeah.
Enough.
And then
Fleta's
also
the meta. Then why is he sitting on the bench?
Yeah, I don't understand.
We're back here, aren't we, with me and them?
I mean, they just keep... them and Dallas keep doing the same freaking thing. So, it's just the same garbage every year at this point. They're basically... Seoul and Dallas are the Cowboys of this league.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're the Cowboys and the Vikings.
Exactly.
They lose in heartbreaking fashion for... I don't know which one... I would say... Seoul, neither one of them was really lost in like a heartbreaking fashion like they're like the Vikings, but they just continually disappoint.
They had to make the season
they get your hopes up and then
that.
Right, they get your hopes up and then dash them.
Yeah, they're the Eagles and the Rams. The Jeff Fisher
you can't say
Rams.
that about the Eagles anymore because they want to Super Bowl.
All right, they're the Andy Reid Eagles and the fucking what's his name, Rams. Mm-hmm. Well, those Eagle teams got into the playoffs too. I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah,
get in the fucking playoffs, Soul, please, and play your best players.
No kidding. And then on the flip side, Valiant looked pretty good last week. Still a little bit shaky. Like we weren't 100% sold on how they were going to adjust to 2-2-2. I think they did a pretty good job, but there's definitely room for improvement. And this will be a good game to showcase what they can do.
And Seoul has to win, and the Valiant have to win. That's big.
Exactly.
Because Seoul dropped 2, and they did what they normally do. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're just gonna disappoint their fans and just fall out of everything and have to win on the last week.
Probably. And then not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like Seoul at this point.
Because are they in the... Yeah, they're not in... Their last game is week 4. Mm. And they have to play... Are you ready for this? The Philadelphia Fusion. That game going to go for like 6 hours.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who wants to win? Nobody. God. Oh, God.
All right. But let's move on to Friday. Because we got a lot of games to get through this
Friday
week.
is just packed.
Friday is stacked with games.
And all of them mean something.
Right. Starting off, we got New York and Paris. That one means a little less. It's big game for Paris, but good luck because it is regular season New York. Just like going up against regular season Peyton Manning. Just never know. You're probably going to get mashed.
Yeah, I think they'll hold their own for a little bit.
I do too.
I think New York will figure stuff out.
It'll just be a little too much for them.
Yeah.
Then the next match is going to be Houston-Philly, which is another... That's
intriguing.
This is a very intriguing match. Philly just... They don't look like they are ready for 2-2-2.
They don't look like they give a fuck.
Yeah.
To me. And I hate saying that.
Yeah. I agree.
It's just like Carpe doesn't look like Carpe. EQO is like hard carrying at this point, and the rest of the team is just kind of blah.
Yeah.
It's
I think the like we said on Sunday or on in the other show is they just didn't really bring it all together outside of their it's basically they flipped in goats their tanks actually look pretty decent, and so did their supports, but their two DPS guys just really struggled to play those non-DPS characters.
Yeah.
And now it's flipped where those two are playing at a crazy high level, but the rest of the team is really struggling to adjust to that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm still not sold on Sato.
I'm not either.
Not that I was 100% on Fraggy in a meta like this.
Yeah.
Before, but I just don't. And it also goes back to what we said before. They're okay, decent at everything right now, but they're not great at anything.
Exactly.
I mean, EQO is pretty much whatever he touches is good. Carpe is kind of like half-assing, it feels like, to me. I mean, he got fucking worked on by the fucking Bacon Jack.
Right. And yeah, like, after seeing that, and then also, honestly, just looking at this game, if Philly loses this game, I think they're
free falling.
Yeah, they are really in a free fall, and that puts Houston at a huge advantage to really sneak back into these postseason playoffs. And honestly, I think they've got a really good shot to do it, because as much as we rag on Houston, they looked really good last week.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, intentional, unintentional or not, Dante in the lineup for the whole time looked pretty fucking good to me.
It did. I mean, they didn't play great against Paris, but I think they kind of figured something out against the Gladiators, and I think that's really going to help them going forward. And it'll be interesting to see, because I think this is kind of a do-or-die situation for both of these teams. Houston more so, because if they lose this game, then they're going to be in a hole that's going to be really difficult to dig out of.
Yeah, because they will be...
I mean, they've got a few easier matchups. They do play Washington. They play Atlanta. But they've got to play London. They've got to play Chengdu. So they don't have an easy schedule, but they don't have a really rough schedule. But I still think this is a very pivotal game, because even if they get into the playoffs and they can't beat a team like Philly right now, then they've got no shot in the playoffs to do anything worthwhile.
And both of these teams, if they want to be, you know, in the playoffs, have to win a game like this.
Yes.
Because you can't really say Houston's bad. I know it's weird hearing it come out of my mouth, but they're not bad in this. And Philadelphia has to beat a good team. Mm-hmm. And I think they have to beat them soundly, too. You know, do something that they did last year, like make a statement.
Yes, this needs to be a statement game from Philly. But if Houston can just keep hanging with them, I think that might even really that might kind of hurt them even more so. Because
I think Muma is 5 times the main tank that
Sato is. For sure.
I mean, they're playing maps that are more suited to Houston anyway. They got like Anubis and the Ilios and stuff like that. Yeah. Those are Houston maps altogether. So we'll see what happens. I mean, that's going to be an interesting match. Yeah. Next match is going to be very interesting, too. Yeah,
let's look at Chengdu and the Gladiators. The Gladiators again, just pulling out their weirdness of looking really good in one match in a week and falling apart in the next match. Because they looked phenomenal against New York, and then Houston just worked them. I wouldn't say worked them, but they definitely, they did kind of work them.
They 3-1'd them. I mean,
no,
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, Houston had some pretty good holds on them in a few different spots.
It's one of those things.
It was a competitive match, but like you never felt like Houston was out of control of it.
Yeah, I think they're having issues with like who they're playing on their DPS line too. I mean, Decay. You have Decay. You have Surefour, you have Hydration.
Right. I think they're trying to figure that out. They're trying to figure out when they want to play Void, because for some reason they're not playing him, even though he is far and away, just looking at the numbers, he is their best player. Yeah. And so it's weird for them to not be playing him. And then you got to figure out, is Roar going to be able to adjust, and I think that's something that they're struggling with, is Roar adjusting to not playing Reinhardt, because when he was finally able to settle into pretty much exclusively playing Reinhardt, he was very good. But when he has to switch to new characters, I think that's something he really struggles with, and that's not a good sign.
I think a lot of these main tanks are struggling with Ball Orisa.
Yeah.
Things that, they fucked around with.
Right.
Where you're not playing them constantly, and, you're playing them spotty here and there. Like if they played last year, there was a couple of maps where you ran the Orisa bunker. Wrecking Ball wasn't even in the game. Right. But they're pretty much the two main tanks right now, along with Winston on occasion if you're running some kind of dive thing. But a lot of these guys aren't, and I don't think he's good at both of those. Yeah. And that's a problem. A lot of teams are having a big problem with that.
Yeah, and this team especially. Yeah. I mean, they've got probably two of the most consistent support players in the league, so I think that definitely helps them, but they've definitely got to figure out what they're going to do as far as their DPS and their tanks, and what's going to be the best fit for them in the meta that's starting to take form.
I mean, because honestly, at this point, can Hydration play fucking Orisa?
Right.
Well, because he can switch to Ball.
Yeah. But then don't you want him on Hog if you're going to have an Orisa?
But Void plays a pretty decent Hog, too.
He does.
So maybe you go Ball Diva.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're wacky. They might figure something out like that.
I could see them being a team that ends up doing something like that, for sure. But as far as Chengdu, even with this, with the lock, they are still finding ways to throw different looks at teams that kind of throw them off, and just playing some. They're still playing wacky comps, even with 2-2-2, and just surprising teams with what they're doing and how they're going about those comps. Like, because they're also playing comps, but they're also they're playing comps that other teams are playing, but they're doing weird strats with them too.
Yeah, and I think they're one of the best teams in the league at changing on the fly.
Yes.
Like, okay, so you're running, X strat. Okay, we're gonna run Doomfist Sombra. You're running that. We're gonna run a pharmacy with Ball and Reaper.
Yeah, they're really good at making adjustments.
You know what I mean? I think the players have been empowered a little bit more by their coaches to, counterpick.
Yes.
Not like one of the things with Hangzhou is they're so hard set. It seems like when they go into a match, okay, we have this plan, and
that's what we're sticking to.
Yeah, and then when it goes fucking wonky, they just keep smashing into the wall, which has been hurting them a little bit lately.
Oh, absolutely.
But speaking of that, let's move to that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that for Chengdu, watch their DPS and just be amazed.
Yeah,
and keep an eye on their supports too. Their supports are really good as well.
Yeah.
As much as I was, ragging on Yevatol Pokemon.
Forgetting into the starting lineup for the All-Star game.
Yeah.
He's really stepped up. He is a very good player.
Yeah.
As much as we gave him crap for that. But hey, good on him. He's really lived up to those expectations as being an all-star in this league.
Yeah. So we started talking about Hangzhou. Let's close out the Friday with Guangzhou and Hangzhou. The Zhaos. It's a Zhao battle. It's a Zhao electrical battle.
I mean, they're literally separated by 2 letters.
And Charge and Spark.
Right.
Anyway, this is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. I'm so intrigued to see...
and this is one I get being on at 12:15 a.m. our time.
Right.
It's 2 Chinese teams. I'm down with that. That's okay. But this is going to
give them a chance to actually watch it.
Yeah.
So it's not on at 6:00 in the morning.
Yeah, that's a little early. But yeah, so we got Guangzhou. We talked a little about Guangzhou. Hangzhou did not have a good week.
They did not. They looked real rough last week. They just struggled to adjust, but they only played one game.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not. They're not out of anything
and all that. Yeah. I think that was all weird.
I think that definitely messed with them a little bit.
Yeah. Because I'm sure it was kind of where the fuck? Why isn't he here? All that kind of shit. You know.
Right.
People talk. I mean, it's going to happen on the team. And it throws him off. They probably had plans for running him on different things, and he wasn't there. But that aside, as much as I like Gushui, man, his Orisa is not great.
Yeah.
And that's huge now. But, yeah, and No Smite is no better.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I don't know if I had to, if we were picking this thing, I don't know who I would pick. I'd probably end up right now leaning with Guangzhou just because of the inflexibility of Hangzhou, because they're going to go in with a plan. Mm-hmm. Guangzhou's going to do fucked up shit, and they're not going to counter. I think,
right, and that's really the downfall for Hangzhou, and is they're just not fast enough to making adjustments. And I do think that they will find their stride at some point.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good
soon enough.
I think they'll be in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to free fall that much.
But that's also concerning based on what we were talking about earlier, where you're going to throw in another hero into this. Yeah. Are they going to be able to adjust quickly enough in the playoffs to really make an impact?
Because someone's going to play Sigma.
Yeah.
It's like people are like, Dallas played Brigitte and went all the way to the stage 4 finals.
Right.
I know it didn't matter. It was stage 4. All you guys can talk all you want. They still mastered the new hero before anyone else.
Right. And it's huge. And I really think that's going to have a major impact in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Is whatever team can really figure out what is best, or what the best way to go about that is. And I think
you could be sneaky and you could be one of those teams in the play-in tournament and ride something like that through the play-in. Mm-hmm. It can happen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and he's pretty decent against those bunker fucking things too. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying if you know how to use them, the shield placement, blocking halts, and all that crap.
Yeah,
a pro could probably do it 10 times better than we can. But yeah,
absolutely.
Anyway, the Hangzhou needs to they need to get more flexible, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can teach your team that. All right, so if the plan doesn't work, have a plan B and a C. Or, like Chengdu does, work on the fly.
Right.
That is the one thing I do like about Chengdu is they work on the fly, and I love that.
Yeah, I definitely do enjoy that about them, and it's part of what makes them so exciting to watch.
Yeah. All right, so let's move into actual Saturday. The first match is going to matter a lot. Atlanta, Paris. That's probably about the biggest game.
After that, you get London getting or mashing Florida.
So, all right, here's the question. Can London beat them faster than Vancouver did?
Ooh, that's really what it's going to be. I mean, if people were doing bets on it, that would be the prop bet.
Yeah.
of who wins faster.
I'm putting a challenge out to my boy Prophet. How many Dragon Blade kills are you going to get this week? You got one upped.
Oh man.
Do it.
I hope that's one of the picks. I hope they get that fix this week, and that's one of the that's one of the pick'em things. Oh my god, it'd be so good.
I would lay money on I would bet that just for fun.
Right.
Oh man, I love my team, but damn dudes.
Yeah.
At least do something, please.
Yeah, no kidding. All right,
anyway.
So the other match, we're going to jump back to Atlanta, Paris a little bit, but Dallas Valiant, that one kind of matters, but honestly, it feels like Dallas is just in free fall right now, and I have no hope that they're going to figure it out. And I think Valiant is just a better team right now.
And depending on what happens to the Valiant earlier in the week, this could be desperation for the Valiant.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're a
Absolutely.
team that you want to be in that desperate kind of mode, because I really like Fact Fiction. His Arissa's pretty good too. Side note, you got Space back in there, and you got all this. I'm just worried about Dallas. There's something about them that just, we talked about it.
Things just are not clicking for them.
Yeah, I want, you know what? This is what I want. I want Taimu in there.
Yeah.
Put fucking put your whatever Zachary has over your family. And this is nothing against him personally. I understand he's a good player. He's got a great Genji. Let's put Taimu in there. Put a leader back on the floor, please. Thank you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's just got to happen.
Oh, and weirdly enough, we were talking about Sigma. I did see Mickey oddly post Sigma main with a question mark a few days like after he came out. So could we see the return of Mickey playing Sigma when he comes out in the playoffs? That would be awesome.
That'd be so good.
Because he was one of the first people to master D.Va too. People don't realize that. Last match is going to be interesting of the day. We have Gladiators in the Shock.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about the Gladiators, and that's why that game is so important for them, because this is a really tough matchup. So if they lose to Chengdu, then they're really, really looking in trouble. So they've got to come out looking strong. Yeah, and you got to stare down the Shock. And you beat New York, but the Shock are a completely different beast.
Yeah, because they can rotate 9 million guys in on DPS. I mean, you have Striker, Architect, Rascal, Sinatra.
Yeah.
Niche picks there, and lots been said about the MVP. Can I throw a name out there that no one would ever think of? How about Choi Hyobin?
Yeah. That's been a beast. Doesn't matter what he's playing. He's got crazy versality. He's been probably one of the best divas in the league. And
his Roadhog is filthy. And, I don't... a lot of people are getting into this whole with the MVP thing. Just a side note. This person wasn't versatile. This person wasn't that. You know what? There's a reason why Super was on there. Because he was fucking mashing people.
Right. Exactly.
Sinatra may have been one-tricking Zarya. But his one-trick Zarya was better than all the other idiots one-tricking Zarya for the whole stage.
Mm-hmm.
Or first two stages. It's like when people get into the whole debate about a relief pitcher winning the Cy Young or a DH winning, MVP. They did their job better than everybody fucking else.
Exactly.
Okay. Off my rant, but yeah, the Shock, they're like them in Vancouver, man. You thought, well, maybe they'll dip a little. They dipped for like half a map.
Yeah, that was about it.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to be an interesting one. There's really not a whole lot on Sunday. You got Atlanta, Houston. That one kind of matters depending on what happens earlier in the week. But, that's really the only one that has any kind of meaning. Maybe Chengdu, New York. But you got Philly playing Toronto, which, if Philly doesn't win that game, then... oh boy. But Toronto's going to probably just kind of roll over on that one.
We have a Vancouver 4-0 coming up.
Yeah.
Potentially. You know what? Washington, though, I'm going to see what they do.
Yeah.
I'm slowly...
and I don't think any of these are going to be necessarily bad matches, but they just have fewer implications into what is important as far as playoff seeding and whatnot. The Atlanta-Houston game does matter more to Houston for sure because they really need this win.
Especially depending if they lose to Philly.
Yeah.
We're going to start weeding people out again. There's going to be a couple more teams. It's like fucking Survivor.
Yeah,
this team's
much.
left the island.
Like, Paris is on that cusp. Houston's right on there.
The Valiant are hovering.
Valiant are hovering. Dallas is right in there. Atlanta, like those teams are all kind of right in there of falling of being in danger of falling out. And then you got to look at Philly and Seoul as well as like potential teams that could fall out, even though Seoul has a huge map differential compared to anybody else. They just don't have the wins, and they're not.
Yeah, they're sitting at
proving
8.
themselves that they can get those wins.
They're sitting at 8 by the end of the week. They could be as far low as out of the play-in with plus 13 map differential. I think Chengdu, New York's going to be interesting though.
I do too.
And
I think that'll be a fun one to watch.
It's going to be the wacky versus the we don't know what's going on yet.
We haven't figured out how we want to do this yet.
Yeah. Well, we can lose every game because we're in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Actually, Mono's just grinding Sigma in scrims, and he's just kind of out there fucking around with Orisa. We're going to put Pine on Orisa. Does that mean we're sandbagging?
So I think that's going to wrap it up for this week, guys. Thanks for joining us. We will definitely have our Sunday back cap on Sunday night. We usually start around between 10 and 10:30 Eastern time. So definitely check us out on there. Keep an eye on our Twitter for that. Join in on the conversation on Twitter. We always try to tweet out things during the matches and have fun with that. So definitely check us out there.
If you're interested in, getting alerts and all that stuff for the Sunday backup, the link for our Twitch page is down below. Just follow us.
Yeah,
and,
follow us on there.
When we come on and all that kind of stuff. You guys know how Twitch works.
Yeah, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe. Hit the icon to see when our videos are uploaded, so you can catch those, because we usually cut it pretty close at times because we want to keep as much information as up to date. So keep that as up to date as possible for yourself, so you can see what we're talking about. And don't forget to give us a review and a rating on your podcatcher of choice. All of that stuff really helps us out, and anybody that has done that, we really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment on anything and tell us what you think, and we will.
We'll run the conversation too, with you. We'll run back and forth. We want to hear what you guys have to say too.
And so that's going to do it for this week, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
See you guys in the next one. Enjoy the matches, and we'll talk to you later.
Later, guys.